it's 2025. We're getting near the end of 2025, still 2025. I haven't made a video for this channel in quite some time, and I thought that it would be nice to be able to start off with another how-to video, and I'm going to show you guys how I edit videos in 2025. My video editing process has changed a lot over the last year. I have been working diligently and making new videos for Adventures in Gaming, which is my video YouTube channel for gaming. And while working on Adventures in Gaming content, I have had to develop and change how I've edited because I've actually not used my Adobe tools like I've used to. Costs just got a little high, and I needed to find a better solution. So I'm going to show you guys how to edit a video, how to export a video, how I make my thumbnails, as well as how to upload to YouTube in 2025. So if you guys are ready, come join me for another good video. A little bit of time for the intro. Okay. Alrighty, so I have to change my display capture over to, whoa, let's fix that. OBS has crashed. Fuck. Oh, welcome back to Facepalm Studio, everybody. Oh, and in typical Facepalm fashion, right before I'm getting started here, I crashed. So I crashed my video recording. That's so funny. Okay, so welcome back. So as we are getting started, like I said at the beginning of the video, we have 4 main things that we're going to be trying to go through. So first we need to get our resources together. So in this sense, I just recorded a video not that long ago for my welcome back video, and so we're going to be using the footage from that. So you're going to need your footage, you're going to need your audio. If you have not recorded anything yet, feel free to go do so. Record something silly, have some fun with it, so that way you can follow along with this. Typically you're going to want one video file, one audio file, and if you want, you can separate your webcam footage out. That's what I'm going to be demonstrating here, and we're going to show you guys how to edit and kind of clip things together. For the sake of this video, I am going to be using DaVinci Resolve. It is free. It is open source to a point. They do have some licensing, but there's a lot of people who make plugins and really good resources for this, and I have been really using it quite a lot over the last year, and honestly, it's become really fun to use. It has a lot of built-in tools. You can do a lot of things in it, like what you can do in Premiere and After Effects, that you can just do all in the same engine. But it requires a little bit of a learning curve, especially if you're coming from Premiere or After Effects into DaVinci. You have to kind of relearn the tool stack. So I'm going to show you guys a couple tips and tricks to be able to get familiar with setting up a project and working on these videos in DaVinci. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump into the software and I'll show you guys how to get a scene going in DaVinci. Okay, so when you first open DaVinci Resolve, you are going to be entering the project menu first. In this case, as you guys can see, I have been working on a lot of different Adventures in Gaming content, some footage from my Dark Souls series from 2020, as well as Batman from 2017, actually, trying to get some footage out. If you haven't checked out Adventures in Gaming, give yourself a second to go subscribe. They're a great channel, speaking from experience, but I have been having a lot of fun with editing. So if you guys want to see the videos that come out from this, go check it out. But in this case, I haven't done anything for Facepalm in a while, so I need to make a new instance for Facepalm Studio. So I'm going to add a project library, call FPS, actually FPS projects, and I'm going to pick a location for it. Yes, okay. So I'm going to go into my working disk. I'm going to go into footage. I'm going to make a new folder for FPS, which is Facepalm Studio. And I'm going to go in here, and then I think I made another one called DaVinci Resolve. I'm not sure if I made it that self. Let's just start here. Okay. And we're going to say create. Now it's going to give me a default project view, and really quick we'll go into the file explorer here and just see what that looks like. Now my working disk here is a NVMe drive that I use that just is better at handling encoding, so it makes the projects run a little better as I get started with this. Okay, so it's just going to make a Resolve projects folder. I probably could make that a default folder like DaVinci Resolve, but in this case I'm probably not moving back to Premiere anytime soon, and I can just make a separate folder down the line. So we'll leave that as it is. And then now we have an untitled project here. I'm just going to go ahead and open that up, and we'll go ahead and oh, it looks like it wants me to make a new one anyway. Media location, we'll worry about that later. So let's go ahead and make a new project. We're going to call this FPS in 2025, because that's the name of the video that I'm going to be doing. We're going to say create, and that's going to take us into the DaVinci window. So now that we're in DaVinci Resolve, I want to take us to where this kind of makes it a little bit different than Premiere. As you can see, there are these tabs here at the bottom that are going to be your different workflows, or I guess they're called workspaces that you would be using in Premiere. And so the first one that we're going to be entering in is this media tab. Now this is where that you can use to browse your media and find what you need for your video. So in this case, we're going to go over to my footage tab. I'm going to go into Facepalm. We're going to go into my raw video, and I'm going to grab captures because that's where my new videos are at. And we're going to go into FPS for 2025. I'm going to grab both of these. I'm going to drag them into my media pool. This option typically pops up if you haven't created a timeline yet. It's going to basically set your project to frame rate. And I think this is going to change to 60 FPS or 30. I can't remember what I have set, but I'm going to say change. And so now those are set here. So you can see I have one audio or one video file for my webcam, and then another video file for footage. Now I think this video, for the sake of it, I'm probably only going to be using my webcam, but we're going to see what I have. I scrolled a little bit in YouTube Studio to kind of show you guys a couple things, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So next thing we need is our audio. So then I'm going to go back up, and I record that in raw audio. And here's my Welcome Back 2025 video. So we're going to drag that here. Now we want to try to start compositing, starting to bring these things together. So I'm going to move over here to my cut window. And this is going to be more familiar to like the initial screen you get when you're in Premiere. You got your timeline. You've got another view of your scrub of the timeline, so you can see the whole timeline in view. This is going to be your more precise movement. And then you got your project window here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in both of my video files first. Actually, I'm going to drag them in one at a time because it didn't really make that correct. So let's do my display footage first. And you'll see here that it creates a new timeline. So I'm going to rename this to my to the episode title. So this is going to be FPS in 2025, which is the same as the project. And then I'm going to grab my camera footage, and I'm going to drag that just right on top. It should snap, but it's acting funny. There it goes. Okay. So next, you can rename these tracks as well. And I think renaming, you can do those in the edit tab here. So this is the cut menu. This is the edit menu. Basically, this is where you're going to make your rough cuts. Editing is where you're going to be making your precise cuts. Premiere, you can do those a little bit more all in one. DaVinci, you might need to separate things out a little bit. So in this sense, I'm going to now grab my audio because I did sync. So you'll see here you've got your two blue tabs for your footage, and then you got your A3 because each of these have their own audio track tied to them. You can see that by underneath the preview of the image. That is the audio track for that video file. So if I jump over to edit here, you'll see it has three different audio waveforms here that we can separate things out. And actually, for the sake of this, these actually are empty. There's no audio that I recorded in OBS. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those really quick. So I'm going to unlink and delete just the audio from that footage, and it deleted the whole thing. That's super cool. Thanks. So let me just try it again, delete. And it's still linked somehow, so let's try cut. There we go. So I guess it's smarter than it thinks sometimes. So we're gonna right click on link and we're gonna go ahead and delete that. And it deleted all of it. Cool. Like I said, these facepalm moments, haven't made it in a facepalm studio video in a while, so bear with me. All right, and now I'm just going to right click and I'm gonna delete the empty tracks. So now we've got a little bit of a cleaner flow here. You can also now in this edit menu change the track. So this is gonna be camera and this is going to be footage. And then this is going to be main audio. So I found the moment where I'm clapping for my sync. If you guys have seen any of my videos about syncing before, feel free to check them out below. I think I've made at least one about syncing audio and video together, but I typically do a clap sync when I'm trying to sync up my footage and my audio up. So I listen for the clap in the audio as well as the clap in the footage. And typically what I like to do is I like it to be where I say 1 or 1, 2, 3 in this sense. Is the 3 is when I've clapped, because audio and video in science, waveforms are slower than the actual video or sight. So when I hear myself say 3, I have already finished clapping at that point. So I am going to make a cut. I'm going to select the video that I want to cut, and then I can hit Control B is going to cut. Okay, there we go. So to do a quick cut, I'm going to select the footage that I want. So now I'm going to be cutting this here. And I know that these started recording at the exact same time because of how I have it set up in OBS. So I'm going to hit Control B on this video as well. And now I'm going to scrub ahead to where my actual audio waveform is for the clap, which is right here. Let me just listen for it again. And now that I have the clap synced up, I'm going to hit Control B there as well. I'm going to drag and select those two here in the top. Well, I guess I can do it either way. So right now, if I am over the cutting timeline, I can click and hold Control and select the pieces that I want to move and then click and drag them. And then the cut should snap. Of course it didn't. See, it's making a liar out of me. There it goes. So the cut should snap together. And now you'll see here when I clap, everything's all synced up. Oh my gosh, I had the wrong audio. Guys, oh man, in true facepalm fashion, I just synced this to the wrong audio waveform. I cannot believe I just did that. That is so funny. Okay, I need to re-edit this a little bit. In the beginning, I selected the wrong file. So I synced it up to what the camera sync would have been, and it was identical, obviously, because I do the same clap sync whenever I make one of these, but it was the wrong piece of footage. Okay, all right, this is gonna be a little bit better. I knew something seemed a little weird. All right, so just so you guys can see again, I'm gonna drag this into the timeline. I'm going to actually see if I can fix the audio for a sec. So let me do that really quick. So you see here, and I'm going to highlight this so you guys can see this waveform right here is the bigger of these waveforms. So that means that this is the one that I'm syncing at. So I'm going to come back here a little bit and I'm going to make a cut when my hands clap. So here, right here. So, and you guys can probably hear, if you can, if not, again, I apologize. The audio kind of scrubs when you move the timeline slider, which is really nice for DaVinci because it kind of gives you an idea of what you're listening for. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and clap. Go back a couple frames here. So this is when my hands come together, and I'm going to hit Control B. That's going to cut both of those. And now I'm going to come back over here in my audio. This is where the clap happens. So I'm going to hit Control B there. And in this case, doesn't really matter what you move first. I usually go with where the first cut is. In this case, I was recording footage a little bit longer than my audio. So I'm going to move the audio over to the footage. And now I'm going to click and drag here. I'm going to say delete. And so now these are all synced up. I just finished making my rough cuts on the video. It turns out that I don't actually need this footage tab. I didn't really talk about anything that I needed the actual desktop capture for. So I'm just going to right click and say delete track. Delete track. Okay, so now I have my camera and my made audio. Now we can move into the actual Fairlight, or I'm sorry, the oh, I'm in the edit tab, funny enough. I was actually meaning to do those edits here in the cut tab, but I think when I was trying to figure out the audio stuff, I got confused. So now that we're in the edit tab, I can kind of show you guys a couple more transitional type things. I didn't really have much of an intro for this video per se, but now I can actually kind of come in and do a little bit more scrubbing to try to clean some of this up. So I'm going to use the Alt key on my keyboard to make the timeline a little bit bigger, actually smaller in increment. That's going to give me the access to do a little more frame by frame stuff, and you'll kind of be able to tell that by the waveform getting a little bit longer. And I'm going to cut a little bit of this dead air out from my my first breath here into the video. And then you see how I was able to kind of drag and select here, whereas in this menu it was a little bit harder to drag and select. If you're in a gray mark of this cut tab, you can click and drag here, where I was having a little bit of trouble with that up here. So now we can come back over here, and I just want to give this a little bit more room to start. Actually, I don't need to zoom out and highlight for that. I'm going to just kind of do a little bit of a fade in into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a, let's see, I'm going to add a video transition. So over here on the bottom left hand side, I have a toolbox menu, and that's going to be like where your general effects and stuff are. And so what I'm looking for is a, I think it's the dip to color. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of, or actually the cross dissolve should be what I want. That's going to bring us in here. So I'm going to click and drag this onto the timeline, and I'm going to put this on front of our video here. And so you can do that by dragging it to the beginning of the clip or the cut. And now if I click on the effect, I can tell it how long I want it to be. And I think I want that just to be kind of half a second here. So it's going to be about 30 frames. And then I'm going to hit play. And I think that looks pretty good so far. So that's just a little startup. And then at the end, I'm going to add one of my Facepalm Studio intros. Alrighty, hi everybody from the so far distant future. So this is, I was in the middle of making this episode, and things crashed again. Like, typical Facepalm fashion, the video capture options that I had stopped. And I noticed it a little late. It was about 20 minutes after I had done the clips that you guys just saw. And so I am going to be continuing to show you a couple more tricks in Audition in DaVinci leading up to us uploading the video that I was making. So I'm going to show you guys a couple more things here in DaVinci before we go into making the thumbnail and doing our next step. So yeah, alrighty. Alright, back into it. So in DaVinci, I was showing you guys how to make some snap cuts. So this is the stuff that I was just editing or just recording for you guys to see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys a couple other little tricks. I am in the cut tab right now. I'm going to move over to edit. So you'll see here when I'm making a lot of rough cuts and edits, I have to kind of line things up and make sure things are synced. I've gotten to the point where now I am getting ready to edit the footage. So you'll see here, just before this, I had the webcam up all the way, and now I'm starting to show you guys my screen. So I want to make sure that's all included as well. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to show you guys some of these next steps. So when you're making adjustments to your webcam and camera, so you'll see here I kind of zoomed things in and cropped it. So I'm going to kind of set these back to the default values. I think there's a way to do that here. Yeah, so I'm going to just reset these values really quick so that way you guys can see the changes I made. So when I am ready to make these dramatic cuts or to be able to edit my footage and move things around, I want to make sure that my camera and my footage are separate. So I'm going to zoom this down, and I'm going to affect the position of it. But first, before I affect the position, I actually want to adjust the cropping. So I'm going to bring this in just a hair, and I'm going to cut my microphone out, and then I'm going to cut the crop off the top here, and I guess let's bring this up off the bottom just a hair as well. There are other cropping methods you can use. Like some people will make it rounded. There are other ways you can do that. For the sake of the video and the time that I've already spent making this episode, I'm just going to make a simple square crop. But you'll see me do a couple zoom adjustments and stuff like that as we go. And now I want to position this in the right spot. So I'm going to move myself down into this bottom right-hand corner for now, and I'm going to zoom it down a little bit actually and just kind of fit myself back in the corner a little bit more. Okay, and now we can kind of keep going. And so to tell which one you're making changes on is going to be the one highlighted in red as well. That's kind of good to know, because if you go back a little bit, you'll see like a couple frames I'm back here, and then here now I'm into talking about the cuts and how to create the project, which you guys have already seen. So I'm going to jump ahead here and make a couple other changes. Audio is sounding a little bit better now, and I am ready to keep going here. So I've shown you guys a little bit about how to affect the video and where things are at. So like there's a couple cuts that I've made that I'm gonna need to move things around for. But before I keep going, because obviously I have to finish editing this whole video, I'm going to show you guys how to render it, even though I'm not going to be rendering this one, and so that way I can move on to redoing the thumbnail and making sure you guys know how that looks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to the export tab, and I'm going to show you guys the settings that I typically use for this. So for the sake of this episode, I'm going to call this editing in DaVinci. And I'm going to browse for the location where I would like this to live. And in this case, I'm going to go over to footage, facepalm, episodes, and this is going to be an unpublished episode. We're going to hit save. Now, for some of the settings that I had before, it defaults this over to a QuickTime file. So I changed this over to MP4 and H.264 codec. Pretty standard for YouTube. And then I left all these the same. When I come over here to audio, I am going to normalize the audio, optimize to a standard, and that's going to be to YouTube. Oop, not Netflix, YouTube. And that's just going to give us an overall audio sound that's just a little bit clearer for the production. And then I would say add to render queue and then hit render all when I'm ready. And then that's going to export the episode that we need. So in this case, I'm going to delete that, because I still have to finish the episode since I'm editing it, but we can go over to the tool that I'm using to make the thumbnail, Krita, and I can show you guys how to make a thumbnail. Now, just as an overview again about the thumbnails and how to create them, you can use many different tools. The one that I'm using, like I said, is called Krita. It's free, open source, available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And then you can also use things like GIMP, Photoshop, if you have it available, Illustrator. There's a lot of different tools out there to be able to do this for. Vectorworks. Inkscape is another one that's kind of like Illustrator. But what you can do in this sake, I'm using Krita. It's free, open source. It's been the way I've been going with things recently. And we can make our thumbnail there. So I'm going to go ahead and open Krita and show you guys a couple things there. So here in Krita, I have already created the thumbnail that I'm going to be using for the welcome back video, but I would like to make a couple changes. So like say, for example, I want to import my background to be something slightly different. So like say, let's just delete the background out of there. Wow, that looks great. I'm going to go ahead and import a new background. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can do layer, new, and then you can create a new layer, or you can import and then import layer, or import as a paint layer or a different layer. So in this case, you would import it as a paint layer. And then I'm going to select the background or image that I want to be for this video. And again, in this case, I'm just going to upload the same facepalm background that I had. And then let's just say open the autosave file. So now we have a background added. What did that do exactly? Oh, it's just showing you what's selected over here. Okay. And then, so the same thing goes for these. I actually cut out Kane out of the turntable that I have in the video. I used the Kane Shatter for that, and then I added the Facepalm Studio here. If I wanted to add some more text, you can add text using the text button here. There we go. Now it's black. Okay. And let's change that back to... what did I pick? What did I pick? This one. 2025. Come on. And then, here we go. Here's the font settings. So now we'll go ahead and just jack that up to 72. It's already black. Say save, close. Now we'll make that just a little bit bigger. Come on. Kind of matching. It's not perfect, but it's what we can work with. So now that we have that set up, let's go ahead and we'll just say File, Export, and we'll just rename it the same file name, and we'll say OK. And that's it for the thumbnail. Now, again, this is really basic, but it's enough that it's going to give people an eye grab. It's going to give attention to the video, and it's going to have something with it that it's going to make it recognizable. So let's go now to YouTube and let's actually upload this. Here I am at YouTube. Now, this is back now an extra 30 minutes from when I did this before. So we're here at YouTube. Let's go ahead and upload our video. So I'm going to go into our footage tab, Facepalm. Let's go ahead and grab our episode that we edited. And in this case, it is going to be the episode FPS in 2025, which we started editing at the beginning of this episode. So I'm going to go ahead and say open. Now, there are some channel defaults that you can set up for this. In this case, I want to edit things the way I have them. So I already have a lot of these templates set. So that's why my description kind of filled in here already. There are other things that I can add here as well. But for the sake of this video, I just want to make sure that you guys know how to go ahead and upload and log in. And again, this is at studio.youtube.com for your specific YouTube channel. You'll go to that Create tab to open that menu up. So let's go ahead and update the title. We're just going to call it Facepalm Studio in 2025. And then we're going to say, welcome back. Again, Facepalm to Facepalm Studio. And let's see, I'll make a couple other little notes here. Creating the PC in the next episode. Okay, so those are just some basics, and I could probably make some changes for that as well, make that a little bit more recognizable. We're going to upload a file for our thumbnail. Luckily, we have that here in our published. Oh, right, we moved it into our thumbnails folder, actually, so we'll go ahead and grab that. And I exported that as a JPEG because that's going to be a little bit easier to work with here for YouTube. We're going to give this a playlist. I'm just going to throw this on Facepalm Friday for now. We're going to say yes. No, it's not made for kids in this case. Some of these things are required for YouTube's algorithm. So you have to list a video if it is made for kids or if it is not. And if you want to restrict it, in this case we do not. So let's see here. We're not using any altered content. I'm going to be leaving some of my default tags the same way. I don't need to select a recording date or anything. Here in this case, this is an educational type video. In this case, it's just going to be, I'm going to list it as other. Let's see here. This one is just an introduction video, so we really don't have to add any of this extra stuff for this one. Comments are left on. Checks are already done. Let's go over to video elements here. I'm going to go ahead and add an end card. So this is going to be just for the end of the video. It's going to give them the next recommended video type here, as well as the the subscribe to be able to click on for facepalm to be able to link to. And I'm just going to shoot these down toward the end so that way people can see them after I am saying goodbye. So we'll go ahead and link those up here. Going to go ahead and say save. And I'm also going to add a card because at some point I talked about Adventures in Gaming here, and I think that was about halfway through the video. So I'm just going to link a channel here, Adventures in Gaming. And be sure to check out AG. We'll do that here as well. So Adventures in Gaming is added. Actually, let me just play that really quick and see what we're talking about here. I talked about Adventures in Gaming somewhere in here, but this isn't it. But in the case, you know, you can move this wherever you need to for this here. So I'm going to move it to there. We're going to go ahead and say save. Gosh, I just realized how bright the sun is now. Coming into the room, really bright. Sorry if that was a little overwhelming. So now I'm going to go ahead and say next. And this is going to move into our visibility sections. Oh, well, our copyright checks first. Say next again. And now this is where you're going to want to be able to show if you want to list your video. So in this case, I am going to make this video public. I've been meaning to post for a while, so I think it would be nice to have something listed here. Actually, you know what? Maybe I am going to schedule this. Let's schedule this for... I did it for Facepalm Friday, but let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and schedule it. We'll go ahead and schedule it for Monday, and I'll do it at 10:15 a.m. And my time zone is Eastern Standard, so, you know, it's going to come through how it needs to. But that's going to be it. That's now the video is uploaded. It's scheduled. With a shorter video like this, it already has the data that it needs to be able to upload properly. And now the video is ready to go for the next time that it uploads. Well, I guess the only time it's going to upload, which is on Monday. So I hope this was a comprehensive video. I know I went a little bit more in depth into the DaVinci part. That's kind of what I've been excited about recently. But I also have a lot of stuff to be able to share with you guys about the kinds of content that we have, how to edit gaming videos. I would like to go into more, the best way to be able to do a little bit more creativity with your thumbnails. I know today's thumbnail wasn't really super anything impressive, but I think that Facepalm is going to have a lot of good stuff coming for it soon. So if you guys have any questions or anything below, feel free to leave a comment. And if you would like to subscribe, please do. And if there's anything else, just let me know in the comments below. But until next time, guys, keep creating, save the pain for those facepalm moments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alrighty? Bye.